Matt Lucas and David Walliams, the comedic geniuses behind Little Britain, were once inseparable on screen, but off camera, they were hurling obscenities at each other during their Australian tour. In this video, we'll take a look at the hidden tensions and rivalries that bubbled beneath the surface of seemingly perfect partnerships. Matt Lucas and David Walliams.
Watch out, ladies. Ball and bow are in the building.
Bow and ball.
Ball and bow. Difficult to get through the door this morning with all the groupies. The ballettes, I call them.
You mean the bow bells?
At one point, I thought my clothes were going to get ripped off.
Well, if she'd been quicker on that Zimmer frame. I'm the sexy one, Vern. My fans are not as old as his.
The creators of Little Britain, Matt Lucas and David Walliams, were once inseparable comedy partners, but tensions brewed behind the scenes. In his 2017 autobiography, Lucas revealed that during their Australian tour, they ended up, quote, hurling obscenities at each other. This incident was the culmination of years of building resentment and creative differences. Their conflict stemmed from a combination of factors, including the pressure of maintaining success and differing approaches to comedy and work ethic. Walliams, known for his prolific writing and workaholic tendencies, often clashed with Lucas's more laid-back approach. Despite these challenges, they managed to keep their partnership alive for many years. In recent years, they've made attempts to mend fences, even reuniting for a one-off Little Britain special in 2019. But the off-screen relationship remains a stark contrast to their on-screen chemistry. Peter Cook and Dudley Moore.
But you are a one-legged person.
You noticed that?
I noticed that, Mr. Spigot, when you've been in the business as long as I have. You get to notice these little things almost instinctively.
Peter Cook and Dudley Moore set the standard for British comedy in the 1960s and 70s. Their contrasting personalities, Cook's razor-sharp wit and Moore's musical talent and physical comedy, created a dynamic that audiences loved. But as their careers progressed, these differences began to drive them apart. Cook's struggles with alcoholism became increasingly problematic, affecting his reliability and creative output. Moore, on the other hand, harbored Hollywood ambitions that eventually took him away from Britain. Their different career trajectories further strained their relationship. Cook, feeling abandoned by his former partner, often made bitter remarks about Moore's Hollywood success. Moore, in turn, grew frustrated with Cook's self-destructive behavior. By the time of Cook's death in '95, the rift between them had grown so wide that Moore admitted to feeling completely emotionless about his former partner's passing. In a shocking statement, Moore even compared the overweight Cook to a beached whale in an interview. Ernie Wise and Eric Morecambe. While Morecambe and Wise are often held up as the gold standard of British comedy duos, their relationship wasn't always smooth. Eric Morecambe, the more outgoing and naturally funny of the pair, often overshadowed his partner Ernie Wise. This imbalance led to tensions between them, particularly in their early years. Wise, who had started in show business as a child star, harbored resentment over playing second fiddle to Morecambe's more prominent persona. He often felt his contributions to their act were undervalued, both by the public and sometimes by Morecambe himself. Though they never reached the point of outright hatred, there were periods of strain in their decades-long partnership. Wise, in particular, struggled with feelings of inadequacy and frustration. In later years, he admitted to having felt overshadowed by Morecambe, a sentiment that had clearly caused him considerable distress throughout their career together. Despite these difficulties, they managed to maintain a professional relationship until Morecambe's death in 1984. Their ability to work through their issues and continue performing together is a testament to their commitment to their craft, even when personal feelings threaten to derail their partnership. Tommy Cannon and Bobby Ball.
What the bloody hell's that? It's a spot, Tom. It's a spot. I can see that, but what's it doing there? It's a beauty spot, indeed. It's a freaking beauty spot. Beauty spot? You're balmy, you are. Tommy, I'm not buying it. These are a thing of beauty.
Oh, yeah.
They all wear them.
Oh, yeah.
My friend Shop used to wear one of these.
At the height of their fame in the 1980s, Cannon and Ball were ITV's highest-paid comedians. But for 3 years at the peak of their success, they didn't speak to each other outside of rehearsals and performances. The root of their conflict involved a mix of professional jealousies, personal insecurities, and the corrupting influence of sudden fame and fortune. Bobby Ball later attributed this rift to the influence of their entourages, saying, quote, "We were surrounded by all these people who were gossiping. They wanted to divide and conquer." Ball admitted in later interviews that there were times when he, quote, "couldn't stand Cannon," a sentiment that was likely mutual. Fortunately, Cannon and Ball managed to reconcile in later years, finding common ground in their shared Christian faith. Wilfrid Brambell and Harry H. Corbett.
Have you maintained the same sort of tempo all the way through?
I think we've tried, haven't we? No, I think what you would say is the outside world has changed. The permissive age has gone further along the line, and we've just adapted with it. That's about all you can say. But our relationship still stays the same. I hate it.
The stars of Steptoe and Son portrayed a dysfunctional father-son relationship on screen, but their real-life dynamic was equally strained. Wilfrid Brambell, who played Albert Steptoe, was a classically trained actor with a penchant for alcohol and a difficult personality. Harry H. Corbett, portraying Harold Steptoe, was a method actor with ambitions beyond the sitcom world. Corbett felt trapped by the success of Steptoe and Son, believing that the sitcom had derailed his chances of being taken seriously as a dramatic actor. This resentment often manifested in his interactions with Brambell. Brambell's heavy drinking and erratic conduct created further friction with Corbett. By the time of their 1976 Australian tour, their relationship had deteriorated to the point where their tour manager described it simply as hate. They could barely stand to be in the same room together off stage, and their interactions were limited to what was absolutely necessary for their performances. Newman and Baddiel.
I don't care about anything you say today, because tomorrow I'm going to Marine World in Brighton.
Yeah, in a special bus.
Rob Newman and David Baddiel were comedy's hottest property in the early 90s, culminating in their historic performance at Wembley Arena in 1993. But this should have been the crowning achievement of their partnership. Instead, it marked the end of their collaboration and the beginning of a long period of estrangement. The pressure of sudden fame and conflicting personalities led to a toxic atmosphere between them. Baddiel later revealed, quote, "We weren't speaking at times, except on stage." Their different approaches to comedy and career ambitions also played a role in their split. Newman was more politically oriented and wanted to use their platform for activism, while Baddiel was more focused on mainstream success. The acrimony of their split was so severe they weren't even photographed together again until 2017, a full 24 years after their Wembley performance. In 2017, Newman reached out to Baddiel on Twitter to ask for tickets to his latest stand-up show, suggesting that time had perhaps healed some of the old wounds. James Corden and Mathew Horne.
How was your
concert
thing?
It was good, yeah. ELO, I mean, drummer's the only original member, but it was still a fun night.
Bet you got shit-faced?
No, not particularly.
Me neither. Chin fizz.
Following the massive success of Gavin and Stacey, James Corden and Mathew Horne seemed poised to become Britain's next great comedy duo. But their subsequent projects together proved a cautionary tale about the dangers of overexposure and rushing into projects without proper consideration. Their sketch show, Home and Corden, and the film Lesbian Vampire Killers were met with scathing reviews. The final blow came with their poorly received hosting of the Brit Awards. Corden later admitted, quote, "We rushed into things. If I have one regret, it was we just rushed those things." As the criticism mounted, the pair found it difficult to support each other. They didn't speak for months after their professional partnership imploded, each dealing with the fallout in their own way. While Corden went on to find success in the United States as a talk show host, Horne's career took longer to recover from their ill-fated collaborations. Bob Monkhouse and Denis Goodwin.
Three little unexpected children seem to be his favorite doctor brought us, and you can see that we'll be free forever and A-E-I-O.
Bob Monkhouse and Denis Goodwin were a prolific comedy writing duo in the 50s, but beneath the surface, personal and professional tensions were brewing. Monkhouse's growing fame as a comedian and TV personality began to overshadow Goodwin's contributions, leaving Goodwin feeling increasingly sidelined and underappreciated. The breaking point came when Goodwin accused Monkhouse of plagiarism, a serious allegation in the comedy world. This accusation shattered what remained of their partnership. Monkhouse, hurt by the accusation and the loss of his longtime writing partner, went on to have a successful solo career, but the ghost of his fractured relationship with Goodwin haunted him throughout his life. Ronnie Barker and Ronnie Corbett.
Here you are. 4 candles.
No, 4 candles.
Well, there you are, 4 candles.
No, 4 candles. Handles for forks.
The two Ronnies presented a unified front on screen, but their off-screen relationship was more complicated. Ronnie Barker, the more prolific writer of the pair, often felt frustrated by Corbett's reliance on external writers for his solo segments. Corbett, on the other hand, excelled in delivery and timing, particularly in his famous armchair monologues. Despite these challenges, they managed to maintain a professional working relationship until Barker's retirement in 1987. Their ability to set aside their differences for the sake of the show demonstrates the complexity of many comedy partnerships. But the fact that they didn't collaborate again after the show, despite numerous opportunities, hints at the underlying strains in their relationship. Now it's time to hear from you. Which of these comedy duos surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments section below.